Hey guys, FirstinWeather here. It's December 1st, 2017, and this video is being recorded on Friday evening. However, most of you will be seeing this video on Saturday. And so here it is, my 2017-2018 final winter weather forecast, and this is FirstinWeather here. And I apologize for this video being a little late. I ran into a little bit of too much homework than expected, but it is the first meteorological day of winter, so here is my final 2017-2018 winter forecast. So the factors that I'll be looking into for this winter are the La Nina, the PDO, the NAO, AO, QBO, and Northern Hemisphere snowfall cover. So here's what I'm using. I'm using my individual analysis of factors, weather models, and weather analogs. So if we first start out with the La Nina, if you look at the title, you'll notice that the font of the word weak is much bigger than the font of the word moderate, and that's because I believe that we have a much higher chance of seeing a weak La Nina this winter. And as you can see, this is these are a bunch of global weather models, and this is from mid-November 2017. And in the months of December, January, and February, most of the models are giving us an average of -7, -0.7, or -0.8, and that's a strong weak La Nina, or a very, very, very weak moderate La Nina. So anywhere between that. So I think for this winter we're going to see a strong weak La Nina, or a very, very, very weak moderate La Nina. And so here are the effects of a typical La Nina. So usually you have these cooler than average conditions in the northwestern United States, with wetter than average conditions in the northwest, and then you also have wetter than average conditions in the Midwest. And then you have warmer and drier conditions in the southern portion of the United States. I'm going to go up real quick to talk about something I forgot to tell you guys about, and that the thing that I want to talk about is this east-based La Nina. And so when you have these waters concentrated on the eastern side of the La Nina, it can do a couple of things. And first of all, during a La Nina, you can either have a west-based La Nina, an east-based La Nina, or really where it's not really based in the east or the west, and then it would just be a normal La Nina. But this winter we're going to be seeing an east-based La Nina, and so that can do a couple of things actually. Well, that's going to be covered in the next slide. So if we go back, here we have that east-based La Nina right here. What that can do is it can push that typical Bermuda high that we see in the southeastern United States and push it to the west. And what that can do is it can lead to warmer than average conditions in this red area right here, and it can lead to a ridge of basically warmer than average conditions in the southwestern portions of the country. So that is definitely something that affected my winter forecast for this year. Now looking into the PDO, this winter I believe that the PDO will be neutral to slightly negative. You may remember a couple winters ago we had a very positive PDO. It's a big time warm phase PDO. We had well above average water temperatures in the Pacific, and that helped to allow this huge trough in the eastern United States with well below average temperatures for that winter. However, this winter I believe we're going to see a neutral to slightly negative PDO. And as you can see, for the past 4 months, we've actually been in the cool phase PDO, or negative PDO. And so I do expect this trend to continue as we head closer and as we go further into the winter. And so as you can see right here, you have cooler than average water temperatures over here, another pocket over here, and then these warmer than average water temperatures over here. And that's a small signature for a cool phase PDO, because you have these cool waters hugging the coast, and then you have these warmer waters in this almost horseshoe-like shape back to the west in a cool phase PDO. And so the effects of a neutral to slightly negative PDO are you have this little trough or dip in the jet stream, so it brings in cooler than average sea surface temperatures, or not sea surface, surface temperatures for the western portions of the country, with warmer than average temperatures in the eastern portion due to this ridge right here. However, one thing I want to let you guys know is that this is not the only factor for this winter. So just because we're going to be seeing a neutral to slightly negative PDO doesn't mean this will be the pattern this winter. We have a lot of other factors. We have the La Nina, the NAO, the PDO, the QBO, Northern Hemisphere snowfall cover, a bunch of other stuff. This is just one tiny piece that will go into making my winter forecast. And so now if we switch gears to the NAO and the AO, this is hard to predict, but it's looking more likely that the NAO and AO will generally be negative this winter, and there's a good reason for that. So the QBO is also an important factor in forecasting winter, and it looks like this year the QBO is going to be trending negative or easterly. And when the QBO is trending easterly, it's been shown that the NAO and AO tend to be negative, like it says right here. And if we look at 2017, you had the QBO in the westerly phase, but for the past 5 months, we've been seeing the QBO in the easterly phase, and I expect this trend to continue as we get into January and February. And so here are the effects of a negative NAO and AO, and typically you see these cold and snowy conditions in the eastern United States with warmer than average conditions in the western United States. And now if we switch gears to the QBO, and again the QBO is looking like it's going to be easterly this winter. And if we look at this image right here, you can see that during winters that featured easterly QBOs, you had cooler than average temperatures in the Midwest and also portions of the eastern portions of the eastern United States, with slightly above average temperatures in the western United States. And now finally, my last factor for this winter is Northern Hemisphere snowfall cover. And interestingly, Northern Hemisphere snowfall cover has been well above average. In fact, October 2017 was 20.7% above average, and this is according to NOAA. And what this can do is that it can help promote air masses coming from Canada to be more severe. Because as you know, snowpack makes the air temperatures colder. So for example, when you have a big snowstorm come through, instead of the low temperature being 23, it can end up being as low as 12 or 13, and that's because you have that snow, which helps cool the atmosphere much quicker. And so when you have this huge area of above average snowpack, it can lead to air masses having a harder time moderating as they move further south. And as of December 1st, it's looking like we're gonna be seeing this huge pattern change, where we're gonna be seeing well below average temperatures in the eastern United States for the next 2 or 3 weeks at least. And it's looking fairly likely that we're gonna see a big buildup of snowpack in Canada and the eastern portions of the northern portions of the country of the United States. And that will also help to help the air masses following this cold snap to be cooler and more severe, and that can help make the difference between a winter that has slightly below average temperatures for a specific area, and instead making it have below average temperatures. So now that we're done with the factors, it's time to look at some of the weather models. So this is the IRI temperature forecast model, and as you can see, this model is predicting below average temperatures for the central United States with warmer than average conditions in the southern United States. And the IRI multi-model probability forecast for precipitation for the months of December through February, it's really showing below average precipitation for the southeastern United States, and then it's not really showing anything else that's really significant, except it's showing pockets of slightly above average precipitation for the northern United States. And this is not something I really agree with. I do agree with the fact that we're going to see below average precipitation in the southeastern United States, but with this above average precipitation in the northern United States, that just doesn't really look right. So again, I didn't really include this for my precipitation forecast this year. And so the Jamstack model, this is the temperature forecast, and again, the Jamstack model just isn't making any sense right now. It's really looking fishy, and so for this winter, I did not include it for my forecast. It's just really looking off, with cooler than average temperatures in the central United States, and then warmer than average conditions north and south of that, just really looking weird and funky. So yeah, and then precipitation is slightly better, but again, not really looking too strong. So for this winter, I really stuck to the IRI multi-model forecast when looking at the weather models. And then also you have the CFS, which is a model that I like, and as you can see, it's predicting warmer than average conditions in the southeast, and the opposite of that in the northwest. And then for rainfall, snowfall, stuff like that, it's predicting drier than normal conditions in the southern portion of the country, with this huge area of above average precipitation for states like Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, eastern Missouri, and Indiana. And now finally, my analog year for this winter is the year of 1995 through 1996, so the months of December through February. And the winter of 1995 and 1996 had a moderate La Nina, a negative NAO, a negative PDO, and an easterly QBO. So what did that winter bring for us? Well, let's see. For that winter, you had below average temperatures in the eastern and north and upper Midwest. We had below average temperatures for the eastern United States, with below average temperatures also in the upper Midwest, and then you also had well below average temperatures in northern portions of Minnesota, and then you had above average temperatures in this big area right here in the southwest, including states like Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, western Colorado, Utah, and California. And for precipitation, you had above average precipitation in the northeast, slightly above average, and then you had above average precipitation in the northwest, with below average rainfall and drier than normal conditions in the southern portion of the country. So here is my overall jet stream pattern for this winter. I feel like we're gonna have this trough right here, so that's gonna cause a little dip in the jet stream. Then we're gonna have this ridge right here, so that's gonna cause it to rise a little bit, and then you have this huge Greenland block due to the negative NAO and negative AO, and so that's gonna cause the jet stream to dip a little bit and then rapidly go up and over this high. So now here is my final winter forecast for 2017-2018. This is my temperature forecast for the months of December through February. And so in the blue, you have below average temperatures. In the light blue, slightly below. In the white, average. In the yellow, slightly above. And finally in the orange, above average temperatures. So take a look at this image for a few seconds, and as you can see from my forecast, I'm going with below average temperatures in the northwest and also in the eastern portions of the country, and with above average temperatures for the southern third of the country. And so now here's my precipitation forecast for this winter 2017-2018, December through February. Take a look at this image. Green indicates above, the lime color kind of indicates slightly above average. This yellowish color indicates slightly below, white indicates average, and this orange color indicates below average precipitation for this winter. So I'm really going with above average precipitation for the northwest and above average precipitation for the central and central portions of the country and the Midwest. And then I'm also going with this huge area of below average precipitation for the southwest. And so now here's my snowfall forecast for this winter. I really had a lot of fun making this forecast, and I also had the most fun making this snowfall forecast. Making a snowfall forecast is a little bit hard. It's challenging, and that's what makes it fun. And so here it is. And this red right here, I think you have a pretty good chance of seeing much above average snowfall for this winter. And in this blue, I think you have a good chance of seeing above average snowfall. In this white area, I think you're going to see equal chances, so you could end up with the winter with above average snowfall or below average snowfall. It's just that it's not too obvious what it will be, because things could go either way. You could have a colder than average winter with wetter than average conditions, or you could have a really dry and warm winter, but just have but just for 1 week you have a pattern change and you have this massive snowstorm that makes your season average, or even above average. But I am relatively certain that in this yellowish color we're going to see below average snowfall. So if you're in the south and you want a nice winter, I'm sorry guys, but it's not really looking like your winter this year. And as you head further south, it's looking less and less likely that you're going to see a good winter this year, with much below average snowfall for the southern United States. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit the subscribe button and feel free to ask any questions in the comment section. I look forward to making a small winter update possibly in mid-December for the months of January and February. I don't know about that yet. I'll just have to wait and see. But again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.